Hey everyone, welcome to 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet. We are continuing on with episode 58 of our Halls of Arden Vul Megadungeon Crawl by Richard Barton, using the old school essential system by Necrotic Gnome. My name is John. I am the referee for the evening. Going around the horn, we would normally have Mike, but he is dead to us tonight. But following around, we have...
Hi, I'm David, and I'm playing Misophase, the magic user, level 1.
I'm Matt. I play Avaricios, the left hand of Lysion, a level 6 cleric.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ted. Tonight, I will be reprising my role as Mortis J. Gabliano, putting the criminal in criminally underwatched.
Nice. In addition, we also have Yost, Yost with the most, as Mort's retainer, and we have the wonderful and beauteous Elizabeth, who is Avaricios' druid retainer as well. So, couple of notes right off the top of the bat. We forgot to mark the fact, because it's always a big deal with the AV Club, that it's actually in the next day. So it's the 4th of Jelenios. Gods be praised. Looking at the calendar, it's amazing for me to see that the split party, it split and reunited all within the same day. That all occurred on the 3rd of Jelenios. So
that's how you do it. That's how you adventure.
I also wanted to mention too, speaking of that calendar is free for anybody who is a member of our Discord server, which is free to join, to just go and check out. If you go to the resources channel in our Discord servers, there's a link to go to our publicly available calendar. It's really fun because you can go and you can actually see how each episode breaks down and what happened during each episode and on which day it occurred. In addition, I forgot that I had actually set up the actual sort of climate zone that I determined that Arden Vul is actually in, which allows the calendar to generate random weather for the day that's based upon that typical climate zone. So last session, I remember that someone was asking me what the moon phase was. I think it was Mike actually. And I actually had that info, and I have like exactly how much cloud cover and all that stuff is. So it is 12:20 in the morning of the 4th of Jelenios. It is approximately 56 degrees Fahrenheit. There's a gentle breeze coming out of the southwest, and there's only a few clouds. So we basically ran it the correct way, in that there is a lot of available starlight and moonlight to actually guide by. And it is the moon is a first quarter fading. So there you go. All the detail you could possibly want.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so pretty cool. And we are picking up with the AV Club. In its current formation, they are in the middle of a conversation with possibly the most powerful creature, at least on the surface, the one and only ancient green dragon known as Krostanisterex, lovingly known shorthand as Kraz. They are currently, let's switch over to Miro real quick. They are actually at the bridge, the actual bridge that crosses over to the ancient ruins of the Donjon. And they are in shattered ruins that are near that bridge. And we didn't actually detail the fact that they were at that bridge, but I decided to kind of put them there because that's about how far they got when the dragon decided to drop down in front of them. This bridge is slender, and it's wholly intact. It goes only to the island where the donjon is. It's about 8 feet wide with a 1 foot parapet, so it's very slender. Their goal before the dragon dropped down was to get to the shattered bridge and cross over, but they have been waylaid by the dragon. So let's see. The window of opportunity you have until the Wine Dark cohort arrives at the gladiatorial school to unearth the vault treasure and bring it up to the surface. Right now is approximately 8 hours and 40 minutes. That's your time to do whatever you want to do before that treasure is basically gone. Now, one thing that I wanted to make clear to the audience and with you guys is something that I completely forgot to mention last time is the fate of Lyta. We need to figure out what happened to Lyta. So when she was with C-Team, which was the last team to go underground. Now, before they went underground, you were on your way to the Broken Head. But you never got there, right? Like you had that decision point whether you were going to go there or go back down, and you decided to go back down in order to rejoin. I told the guys offline that Lyta would be very, very reluctant to ever go back underground ever again once she saw sunlight, right?
This is fair. Yeah.
She is also, though, her mind is basically gone, right?
Yeah.
But there are certain things, as you found out from the long stare, that she just will not do. Like she will not do it. Does not matter. And this is probably not long stare level of will not do, but it's very, very strong that she will fight tooth and nail to not go back down. So I just need to know, for the sake of her well-being and what happens to her, like what do you do with Lyta before we have to go back in time? What do you do with Lyta before Team C goes back down underground?
Just a real quick thing before we get to Lyta. I want to say two things. One, I love that you're doing the weather. It's incredibly evocative. It's perfect. For a nerd like me, I'm here. I'm there. Two, many will say that there's no right way to play D&D, but I think they're obviously wrong, because our way is the only way. So on that note,
Okay.
I'm kidding, of course. Lyta, Matt, why don't you lead?
Okay, so one of the things that I think we would like to do for Lyta, I mean, we've cared for her, bringing her back up. We've been, concerned for her well-being. We get a little cast spell on her, whatever. That was for her own good, really, if you think about it. But really, one of the things that was important about Lyta was, through all the confusion, some of her items, we were holding them for her. But at one point, we gave her back the necklace, like this important necklace that has symbols of the trials of Arden on it. It had a feather and a claw. And one of the things we wanted to do was offer her a replacement, right? Like, say, Avaricios wanted to give her, using the trickery of the bag, to replace this necklace with some new charms added to it to reflect her new friends.
Yeah,
right?
she'll be happy. She'll be happy to take that. She doesn't understand the actual nature of that. Neither do you, really. You have suppositions.
I remember. Yeah, we checked it. It wasn't magical, but it has a symbolic.
Yeah,
I'm very paranoid, as everyone saw when I went out in a bunch.
So that's fine. She appreciates that and all that kind of good stuff. But what do you do with her?
I will pitch something y'all don't have to agree with, and I understand she'd probably be reluctant to it. Knowing that things are very dangerous in the plateau, could we say something along the lines of, Lyta, I know it's temporary. We're very sorry. Again, disagree, please, if y'all don't like this. We're very sorry, but we have enemies all throughout, and we're worried that we may be ambushed at any time. We do have allies right inside the pyramid. They're a little strange, but we know that they can help us be safe for the night until tomorrow or whenever it may become safer, which is a truth, right? It's also a convenient truth to us keeping her around, but I don't know if that's something that y'all like or think could be effective. Go, Ted. Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's the time or inclination to take her to the Broken Head or Gosterwick, although those would be far better. So let me take your idea, David, and mort it up a little bit.
All right.
Lyta, my friend, I know you're very reluctant to descend deep back into the earth of Arden Vul, but may I introduce you to my pyramid-guarding goblin friends who sit in this lovely wooden hut here atop a pyramid. This is Wongo Tooth and his friend Margarine, and they would love company tonight. You, with your excellent night vision and your experience with many creepy crawlies of the night, they could use someone like you, Lyta.
Okay, do you have a charisma bonus?
I do have that thing, and I call that charisma bonus a +1.
Okay, make it a +2. She likes you. She trusts you. She does understand like varying levels of danger, but she is also thoroughly insane. And she has a strong she has a strong inclination to not want to go downstairs. So I am going to defer to the dice rolls. So you're going to roll a reaction roll.
You realize what I'm asking you to do, though, is to stay on top of the pyramid as a guard, not going around.
Oh,
very smart.
So she doesn't have to go down in the dark at all.
Well,
right?
okay, that changes everything.
May I also say that if Mort ever dies, please, John, allow him to play the now named. My brain just went totally blank.
Margarine
wants to stay in this campaign.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway.
So that changes everything, Ted. So she will agree to do that. She does not. That to her is not underground. So
I will introduce Lyta to Wongotooth and Margarine. Margarine, Wongotooth, this is Lyta.
Okay.
She's going to hang out with you tonight and, teach her the ropes of guarding the Goblin Empire, and we'll come pick her up tomorrow.
Okay. So they grab her hand. They're like,
John?
we'll show you such stuff. It'll be super fun.
I love that. May I add to that just as a consideration? When we emerge back and go and get intercepted by a dragon, Lyda would probably see it, and that'd be a pretty good incentive to stay with the goblins in that pyramid.
Well, no, we're going back in time.
No, I know, but I'm saying if we were to fast forward to where our team currently is, if she's outside that whole duration,
she's going to see us like chatting with the dragon.
Us reemerge, go to try to do our little heist, and be intercepted by a giant dragon. Would you not?
Yeah.
Incentive. It's an incentive for her to stay there. Yeah,
I'm not trying to lead the DM. I'm just like saying that's a pretty cool bonus. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay, so going fast forwarding back to where we are right now. So the looming is dark. It's the nighttime, starlight, moonlight. Okay, your vision is completely taken up by the massive form across the Nistorex. The goblins are cowering and squealing. Most of you are cowering and squealing. Only Darius and Avaricios are have the presence of mind to actually deal with them. Avaricios has sort of taken the lead on that. And
Darius is
he has told you what his terms are basically, and he has told you that he wants all of that treasure. And he does not want you to mess with the operation to bring that treasure up and out. All of your trying to reason or bargain with him has failed, and it has become quite evident why. And because he's basically talking to you from a position of absolute power, almost deific power. And in addition, he also has heard word, you don't know how, but that he knows that you have recovered his missing gold rod from his hoard, and he has given you 24 hours to return it, and you are to do that within 24 hours at the statue of Vul across the bridges of doubt and wisdom. So that is the case. There are a couple of other things that he tells you during this conversation as we kind of pick up with that conversation again. Something that I as a DM, as a referee, forgot to convey to you as well. He tells you that it was obvious to you from the beginning that he was going to double cross, although he doesn't really see it that way, the Wine Dark cohort, right? But the fact is that he tells you that he spoke with that woman from the building outside the walls, and they had made a pact with me to prevent those known as the AV Club from interfering with the Horde extraction, and in exchange for my making sure that you did not get yourselves involved, they would give me what they deemed a cut of the Horde, approximately 3,000 pieces of this gold.
Paltry.
That sounds insulting, honestly.
What they failed to understand, and what she has failed to understand, which is quite a shame considering the beneficial relationship we've had for so long, is that money was already mine. And so it almost amuses him to think that he would honor that agreement. Their lives are forfeit, and he's going to take it all. Mm-hmm. All right.
Well understood.
What do you got to say to that, Avaricious?
Well, first of all, the mental image I have of Avaricious at this moment is, remember in Wizard of Oz when the Cowardly Lion is talking to the wizard?
Yeah.
With his tail.
This is very much in that position. He was definitely looking for a change of armor.
Are you saying you're not going to thrash this dragon from top to bottomless?
Not at the moment.
Not yet.
Give me a couple of episodes. Okay, so Avaricious, is very scared. He's acting very humble in this. He's hoping that the scared will work, mm-hmm. and or work to his advantage. And he'll also ask, of course, that it sounds insulting, really, that they didn't realize that this, would be yours. I completely understand where you are. In fact, I have an offer. I don't know if this would be helpful to you. You tell me. If it's not helpful, we will not do it. I think I have a way that could interfere with the oxen that these wine darks have for pulling their carts. If it would be helpful for me to do that, I will do this. If it would not be helpful, say the word, I will not do it. I will not interact with them at all.
You're
just
so
their
smart,
oxen.
Matt. I know where you're going with this. I love it.
The
so
beasts
smart.
that draw the wagons must be allowed to go to the school and haul the gold out of there. But then the beasts, much like those who drive them, will be in my gullet soon after the gold
Matt,
is.
can I recommend? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't cut you off.
You are going to be very well fed tomorrow. I'm getting a little voice in the back of my head. Just one moment. Yes, David, what do you have to say?
Sorry. I both like the idea of sabotaging them and cutting a bargain with him. Obviously, he's powerful. Maybe he doesn't need it, per John's saying. I'm assuming you're talking about the snakes scaring up the oxen.
Yeah.
You could potentially pitch that not as something you're doing right now, but as something that will complicate a fleeing effort later. If your intent there is to also give an excuse to us to head towards the north rather than the pyramid, which I think is part of your triangulation because you're a very smart cookie. I don't know how you would say that. That's up for you to do, and it probably won't work. But if you want to try to frame it in that way, that's all I was pitching. Ted, go on.
You could say, like, Dreadlord, the one who leads these mercenaries is our sworn enemy, and we would gladly aid you in your quest to eat them all. With your leave, may we approach
appeal to the ego
and sabotage them, or catch those who flee or something like that.
This is very much his plan. He says basically that oh great one, you have this covered, no doubt. If you would like these allies, perhaps we could hinder their fleeing if possible. Here's what I propose. Let us pass well to the north. We will watch from the north. We will not go anywhere near the bit of business that you have going on to the west. We're going to go north, and we're going to try to make it back to watch this incredible show of your power in the morning. And at that time, if it is at all in our possibility to slow them down or to make things more interesting for you, we will do this.
Kill stragglers
as a gift to you.
He sort of shakes his the tendrils like underneath him, and like his massive regal horns sort of shaking. And you get the impression that he's actually yawning a little bit. Says, you bore me, peasant. None of this matters. Their lives are all forfeit. Nothing you can do is going to facilitate that.
I'm not saying we should do this.
I care not if you watch. I care not where you go. In 24 hours is when I start caring about you again.
I love this. Okay.
That's fair.
I kind of want to just move on from that, but I want to throw one more thing out, and then we don't have to dwell too longer. He very clearly communicated to us that he had found at least minor offense in the 4,000 gold that Kronos and Estelle offered him of this cut. 3,000, sorry, which is a great reason to say, oh, great Lord, would you like us to go and take care of those who do not respect you as well as we do? And whether we actually do go fuck with Kronos and Estelle, it reinforces this idea that, like, we'll go do this. And therefore, even if we don't come up, maybe it plants the idea that they succeeded in stopping us. And that's why we haven't emerged. And that they're the ones that have complicated the horde retrieval. I don't know exactly how we phrase that, but in other words, like, why don't we go take care of them for you? We could easily, and you deserve better than this deal, this pittance that they're offering you. We will just do what you ask. In other words, we don't need to cut a deal with a dragon. We are just happy to live, kind of thing. I don't know why I'm taking on John's dragon voice, but I don't know if that's worth it to you guys. But it may be another like subterfuge that like plays, whether we succeed or not, and whatever we're doing, it might help us in either direction. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying, and I like the idea of knowing that whatever we go do to Estelle, he's not going to get involved with. But I feel like he said, I don't care where you go. I don't care what you do. Come back with my gold.
Yes.
I think we should take that and run.
I think that's fair. I think it's totally fair. We don't have to complicate it more.
Yeah.
By the way, I wasn't suggesting we actually do kill them, though. Obviously, I'd love to. But that we indicate that if anything were to happen to them, we would be involved, or if anything were to happen to us, that they may be involved. But I agree, like cutting and going and not complicating further and annoying him is probably better.
Do you say anything else, Alvaricios? You're muted.
You're muted.
I had some child advice to give. So far, everything that I've offered to him, he's been borderline insulted that I'm still talking to him and yawning. So we're just going to bow out. If there's anything else we can do for you, you let me know.
So he swings his head down one more time and sends you his whale, gives you his whale eye again, and he said, and breathing that chlorine like all over, you could feel your throat like seize up, and he says, I will see you in 24 hours or less. You will cease referring to me as Lord and bowing and scraping. Lordship, and he gets real close to you, implies a reciprocal relationship which does not exist. I do not rule, I harvest, I reap. And then he basically lifts off the ground, and you can see on his back talons which you didn't see before, is you hear a crunching sound as he foists his bulk up into the air with like his wings just woof, 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 as you all get blown back. And you see that in his talons, as he lifts off into the air, is one of the deer carcasses that was on that cart from earlier in the day. As he lifts off into the air, he basically tosses it up with one talon and snatches it out of the air and just gulps the whole thing down and then just wings off into the night.
Oh my
God. He goes southwest, by the way.
Southwest. Okay.
All right.
I feel like
we determined
that whole Lord speech there. We need to make some sort of charisma check. Like that was something else, man. Jeez.
So he
phenomenal.
Sorry,
yeah.
David,
So as he wings away and basically goes over the islands towards the southwest, the fear slowly lifts, and you all find like big wet stains on your crotches, basically. As you,
I was going to ask, what do I roll for the size of the puddle of urine below me?
And as you collect yourselves, this is a good time to take our first break. We will be right back. Okay, we are back. Bladder's empty, beer's full. All right, so the dragon has taken off. Now, in the wake of that, the goblins are absolutely terrified. They are not adventurers like you, and they're goblins. They have just experienced something that was way beyond their pay grade. Way beyond their pay grade. So, as a result of that, they are going to have to make a morale check. Okay. Can
we influence the Saul with anything we say, or is it too short?
Yes, you
notice?
can. Just give me a sec. But so I'm just letting you know that they are ready to break and head right back to the pyramid. If you are attempting to, without saying anything, continue overland. Like if they heard the entire conversation, right? So they're under the impression, being goblins, like the obvious choice would be to immediately turn around and go back to the pyramid and get that golden rod for the dragon. And they are all for that. And if they see they
heard all of it.
And if they see any sort of decision to not do that, they think you're absolutely batshit crazy, right? So that's where you're at. So they're right at the border of making a morale check. Yep.
So Mort will stand up and brush the dirt and grass off of his jacket and turn to his fellow goblins. My brothers, be not afraid in this hour of danger. You see before you Mortis J. Gobliano, Avaricius, the left hand of Lycian, and I don't know, Morpheus something, some new guy, I don't know. But it is we,
and
we
this
who
guy.
brought this guy, this brave man, we who brought your brothers out from the darkest depths of Arden Vul. It is we who have stood before the dragon and traversed all across Arden Vul. Here is the place where you are the most safe. In our company, under our guidance, fear not, we shall go forth into great deeds and 100% success, I promise.
Nice. Dave, you want to say something?
I think Mork should still be our spokesperson, but nor do I think. Oh, sorry, I keep leaning away from the camera.
That's his name.
I've Misoface is the name, and also everyone should know. I'm sorry for my leaning. John has given me a appropriate note that I keep going like this every time I get excited, and it's awful for the audio. I'm gonna try my best. I think that's a great speech. I would add to it, if we're all of the mind, like Ted and Matt pitched last time to get some of the horde, that you might be able to appeal to the wrath of the Goblin King for returning with nothing instead of a great riches that we almost assuredly can bring because we have the totally airtight, DM can't possibly poke holes in plan to get
with
the
a capital
horde
P.
for the Goblin King, and they will be heroes amongst their people for a millennia type thing.
Okay.
So Mort will go over to Misoface and hold up one of his arms and say, "Look at this skinny noodle, and yet he is still willing to follow me into battle.
Okay.
You cannot do any less."
So
besides, guys, I think Kraz really likes me. I think he was hiding it, but I think we might have something going.
So you have to kind of picture like what the scene on the ground actually is, right? Like your cajoling and reasoning can only go so far in the wake of dragon fear of that intensity, right? But it does help. So I'm going to say this: they still have to make a check, but it's their morale would normally be 7, which is pretty relatively cowardly. I'm going to bump that up by 2 though, and they're going to have a morale 9, which is very, very solid. Okay. So
are they going to roll as a group, or
what I'm going to do is I'm not going to roll for all 20 goblins. So that's a pain in the ass. Right. So what I'm going to say is, if it's okay with you guys, what I'm going to do is we're going to roll 2d6. If they roll 9 or under, they succeed. If they all succeed, they're all going to stay. Okay, with 1 roll. If the roll fails, I'm going to say that half of them are going to ditch and go back to the pyramid. And you'll be left with 10. Okay, so you're going to have at least 10 no matter what. You could possibly have 20. Okay,
I couldn't possibly argue with that.
So
thank you, John.
That is extremely fair.
Do one of you want to roll?
John, I was going to say, in fairness, I mean, just because, the stakes, right? Like, just to be realistic, if we really botch the roll, maybe they should all run.
Well, don't. It's like no.
10.
I know. I'm always shooting myself in the foot.
No, you know what? Ted, I love where your mind is. If we're all cool with that, because I love a bad outcome.
How about if we say this? If you roll a 2, like if you roll Snake Eyes,
yeah, they all
That's
go.
What I'm thinking. Okay,
cool. Okay. I love that.
All right, so 9 or under. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Snake Eyes. If you roll boxcars, if you roll 2 6s, they all disappear.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So
2 would be good.
Who wants to roll? You guys want to roll?
You want me to roll?
Go for it. 2d6.
Okay, here we go.
Ted, it was your speech. It was a good speech.
Yeah. 6.
Okay.
Hey!
Very good. Okay. So they are swayed by Misophase and Mort's reasoning, and they don't like it, but they try to gird themselves and they kind of toughen up. Now, the one that sort of slaps him, who's like, yeah, listen to what he says, is the leader is a guy named Gangrene. Is his name. You recognize this guy because you've seen him quite frequently. He seems to be often, not all the time, but often the goblin that is in charge of the pyramid watch up top. So he knows Margarine and the other guy quite well. Wongotooth, yeah. Strangely enough, Gangrene, what I wrote down for his description, actually probably fits the name of Wongotooth better because he actually has a huge misshapen tusk, like an insider here, that is so big and so curved it actually enters into his nostril and has scarred it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right? So it's kind of riven his nostril, and that causes that nostril to constantly seep mucus over that tooth, which he constantly slurps up. And so, kind of talks like this all the time, right? Like pop boy show thing. Is that right, boss? All right, you hit him. Let's go. He's always like, sort of snuffling.
Gross.
Yeah, he's really gross.
If we TPK, we have to play a goblin all party with these just horrible maladies and names.
Why'd you go, boss?
I love it, John.
Okay, so now it's up to you guys. What do you want to do? Where are you going?
All right. So
what? We have to execute the plan now?
we've got this, guys. We've got this. The dragon is nothing to us. I think that he's given us kind of free reign as long as we don't X, Y, Z, right? I think rather than risk the danger of crossing the broken bridge, I think we just go down. I think we cross the two whole safe bridges down below the ruins there, and then head north up to the cave bear entrance. Right? I don't. Well, yeah. I think that's what we do, because I don't want him to see us going to the gladiatorial school.
Yes, and I'll tell you why we're going to do that. Because on the way, Yost will pick up the blue azure armor +1, and he will put it in his backpack because he hid it at the donjon.
This is a great idea, Matt. Not the donjon, but the palace.
Excellent. Sorry, the palace. Yeah. He hit it, so we'll pick it up and keep going. Great idea. Let's do it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this. When you get to the statue of Vul, are you planning to go west through the breach, or are you going to break north through the ruins and do the Great Northern Loop?
Yeah, I think we're gonna
we go straight
north.
West. That's heading to the gladiator school, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So
so we need to go break north.
Break north, basically. Well, you could actually break north right at the end of the bridge. You don't have to go to the statue if you don't want to. Yeah,
I don't want to go to the statue. I don't think we want Kraz to think we're there.
Cool. All right,
this pyramid gold.
All right. So 1 second, please. Do not mind me at all. No big deal whatsoever. Okay, so you make your way back down south, heaving to the eastern side of the Swift River. You can see here that where it breaks around here, the swiftness of it is actually a little bit lessened. So you think like if you managed to cross it here, or even though it would only get you to an island, even if you got into the water, it probably wouldn't kill you. You could probably swim it. Anyways, but you make your way down. You go to the broken statue of Arden, and you make your way across the Bridge of Doubt. In the nighttime sky, you see no sign of any flying creature at all, including the wyverns. And then that's going to take let's see, what do I have here? A turn. Yes. I will say without any fanfare that getting the armor is going to take another turn.
Okay.
Mort, do you wish to don it?
It's Yost's, and
Yost.
No, because we need to keep moving fast for now. So he just sticks it in his backpack. Later on, when there's when speed is less of the essence and protection is more important, we'll stop, and we're going to probably have to change up some equipment. But right now, like my guys have all their stuff in their packs so that they're not equipped and they can move faster.
So Yost, I think that it's going to be 2 slots in Yost's pack. Right.
Yeah, but it's an empty pack. He has like a torch.
I just wanted. So he's still at 120. That's what I'm asking.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. As is Mort.
Okay. So it's going to take another turn to cross the bridges.
John, let me ask you something before we get too far away from where we were. When Kraz ate that deer, did any bits fall, or did he swallow the whole?
Swallowed the whole thing whole. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
In midair. This is an important thing too. But, I actually wrote this down because I wanted to make it very clear to people, because this is the only way to depict dragons. They are 4-armed. They are not 6-armed. I don't buy any of that crap.
Right. 2 back legs and 2 wing arms.
That's you're gosh darn right. The way that Smaug was depicted in Desolation of Smaug, and the way that all the dragons in the Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon have been depicted. That's the kind of dragons we're talking about.
So you're saying the original Monster Manual Red Dragon is wrong?
It is wrong, yes. And I love me some Easley. I love me some Trampier. I love me some Sutherland. But they got it wrong. They are not 6-legged.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So at least in my book. Okay. So.
Yeah. So when he's walking like on the ground, he's using his wing hands, right?
Yeah. With like the points like you know. Yeah. We've seen it a bunch of times. Depicted really well. Say what you want about those shows, but they did a fantastic job with the dragons in Game of Thrones. And that's the way I kind of envision them. So that's the case. And so you cross over the bridge. You can see the headless statue of Vul off in the distance. You know that is where your meeting place is with Kraz, destined in the future. But you are going to break through the ruins to the west of the Swift River here and try to head north. And up and out. Okay. So away you go across.
If I may, and I think David will remember this, and probably Matt too, but when we went to the gladiatorial school, one of the reasons we took the route we did was we were trying to avoid being spotted by scholars and Setites in the tower.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Is there any lights on in that tower? Any evidence of somebody home?
So we'll say you can't really see from this point.
Is it Mike?
Hmm?
I think Mike is joining us.
Oh, excellent.
Wait a second. Do my eyes deceive me?
He's not on yet. Okay.
No
so,
Mike yet. Okay, fine.
So when you can't see the Westgate Tower, the Westgate Towers from this distance because it's like the ruins and stuff like that. Oh, there he is. Mike has arrived. Hey, what's up?
You guys missed a really good Super Bowl, by the way.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Okay,
Alive!
Mike. They are. Darius has joined us. Mike, they are on the west side of the river. They have just crossed the bridge, and they are heading north towards the Cave Bear entrance. Okay.
Ooh,
So
okay.
we're all-
we're going
we are
with that
all-
plan.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
So-
we're all new level 1 characters, by the way.
Yeah.
The Dragonatus.
Okay, so
Yep.
you start to head through the ruins. As you get
Yeah.
closer to I'm going to switch over to Miro so I can see what you guys are actually seeing. 1 second. Sorry.
Yeah, our token is very small, but
So can you guys see where I'm
See our
circling right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you
should
kind
I
of get
move
to
the
that,
token up there?
there's a bunch of ruined stuff all around. Just be aware that it's not like an open plain there, right? But we'll just say like when you kind of get back to this building, which is a little bit more intact than the others, is when you can sort of espy the Westgate Towers in full. Like you kind of get like a direct bead on it. You do see that there is definitely some light in the upper floors of those towers, and they're all basically arrow slits, right? So, but you do see that that's the case. Now, when you look over that way more and you draw everyone else's attention there,
Yeah.
you can see that there is something else that's bright that is reflecting in the moonlight at the very base of the tower, of the eastern two of those towers. And when you look at it, you realize that what the light is reflecting off of is white fur. And you see a hulking figure sort of move around a little bit, and it stretches, and you can see 2 large arms, and then another set kind of stretches out as well overhead. And then shining in the light as well, you see a distinctive, and I probably didn't even mention this back in the day. You see a large piece of jewelry in the forearm baboon's ear, which was indicative of the very familiar baboon to Mort and Avaricios, at least, of the dreaded Cisco, the slayer of Yonwin and Squeegee.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, Mike.
Just out of curiosity, what are our goblins armed with?
They are armed
Anything?
with spears and shields and short bows.
Short bows. Oh, yes, we should now. Pincushion monkey.
Do the giant monkeys count as humanoids?
No, they do not. The
Count the arms, man. Always a tell.
They're technically crabs.
yeah. So he appears to be by himself, and he's out there, and he's sort of hunched over, right at like the gate, the gateway into that tower.
Right.
Right.
Does he look like he's guarding or spying?
He looks like he's guarding.
Okay. So we could go
That's
around
incredible.
this whole wall and tower situation by kind of heading more straight north and then curving around, right? Or we could
Which we have to do anyway.
we could dry gulch this fucking monkey and have our way with him out here in the open where
You hear it tapping on your shoulder, Mort. Feel it
Oh.
tapping on your shoulder.
yes,
Hey,
what
bud.
is it, good sir?
But it's gangrene with his
Gangrene, my
His
friend,
tooth
speak
of it.
me.
It reminds me of something that we saw up at the pyramid, boss.
Yes, tell me more.
We saw this baboon. We saw the one with the earring. We
Yes.
saw him wandering west. He was coming from the east, down the boulevard to the east.
From the east, wandering west,
He
you
went
say?
he wasn't alone though. He wasn't alone. There was 2 men with him. 2 men. One slim.
2 men.
One slim. He was wearing gray armor, and he had some sort of like bark-like cloak on him. And there was another one. He was tall with a top knot, long mustaches.
Red armor.
Yeah. He was wearing red armor like the set worshippers, like the dog worshippers. That's it. But it didn't look like it fit him very well. Like it was too small for him.
David's gonna pop. Yes, David.
Okay, so wait. The top knot Setite was a prisoner of what was the other trustees?
Trefco.
We are looking at Cisco. We're looking at Cisco, not Trefco, right now.
Correct.
And we're looking at the Setite we're hearing about the Setite willingly traveling with Cisco. Geralad,
They came from the eastern wall.
we can
side of the
ask
pyramid. They came from the eastern wall. Right past
Ted
the pyramid,
or
we saw
I.
him.
Can Ted or I kind of like sketch this down? I don't have my tablet, Ted. Do you mind just
Oh
sort
yeah,
of like
I can draw
noting
some
it on the map while I do
Which
a quick
tower is it, John?
supposition?
Where they came from?
Where we're seeing Cisco. Which tower is it?
This one.
That one. Okay. Okay.
It was
Okay,
last
so
night.
And
It was last night. You were all sleepy down in the debouchement. And they came.
my friend Gangrene, I have one question. The guy with the little mustache and the top knot, did he look like he was like friends with them, or were they kind of dragging him along? Did he look happy, not happy? What did he look like?
Hey, Jake, I can't say. Don't know. They were walking fast.
Walking fast. Okay.
How do you spell Cisco again? Is it Sisko?
Correct.
Couple possibilities. We don't know everything, but if the last we ran into the Setite, we were fleeing after the murder of Isocrites. I'm going to try to do this very quickly instead of rambling. He was a prisoner. If he's still a prisoner, that says one thing. If he's not, we also know that we told Tresco that, whether they believe it or not, Cisco was attacking Geralad in the library, that there was something going down in the library. I doubt it did, but what I'm getting at here is he implied, the reason we said Cisco is he implied, he name dropped him before we proffered that, which means there was already some tension between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one carrying the Setite guy. So if this guy isn't under duress, there's a possibility that there was some throwdown, and Cisco is now like, "You're on my side now. You helped me kill Tresco," or I don't know. We could spiral out forever.
Well,
basically, there's something going on down there.
Smooth talker, and he had something to offer to Geralad.
Possibly, but he was also incredibly emaciated, which tells me that he might have been a prisoner for a while. But then why would he be dragged around? I don't know. That's good questions. Matt, go ahead.
May I remind one thing also? Geralad's MO is charming people into service.
That's right.
What am I thinking?
About that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we originally
that's what he
thought was
does.
Isocrites doing, but it clearly isn't. Which is very strange for a druid.
And these monkeys all kind of thought that Geralad was their father anyway. So whether that's a charm effect or just
Well, also,
brainwashing.
to be clear too, like you have one instance of a person being charmed by Geralad. That's Njal, right?
Right.
One.
Yeah, but we can elaborate in our own. Fancy
Yeah, I'm just saying, like
Answers a lot of
it might be a
questions,
stretch to call it his modus operandi. You know, he has charmed someone in the past. Is that his thing?
He did
that
it once, yeah.
You know,
right.
yeah.
So
This is fair.
here's what we're going to do. All right. We're going to turn Onward Invisible and put a fly spell on him. We're going to just assassinate. Oh, damn.
Oh,
Okay, so my question for you guys, in order to kind of move things along, are you going to engage with Cisco in any way, shape, or form, or are you going to stick to the plan?
I kind of want to kill that fucker. I want to kill him. But wait, I want to kill Codswallop more. Do I?
which do you want more, revenge on the monkey or possible scratch? What do you want, man? See,
Revenge and
I think
scratch. Revenge and scratch, right? Like kill Codswallop and get money.
Yeah. Profitable death of Codswallop. I have to vote for that. You're right.
Okay. So
right. We should just skirt this whole thing.
So you stay wide of the west gate, and you're going to continue basically on the red line there, right?
I didn't
more
see.
Or less that'll work, yeah.
Oh, I see where your Ted drew. I just want to. Okay, wait. Just to reiterate, I just want to reiterate one more time the direction they were walking to and from.
Oh, so they were coming from east to
From
west.
the east.
So my guess is they came up, maybe through the light well or something, and then
Gangrene can tell you. Like he tells you, he was at the Pyramid Watch, in charge of the Pyramid Watch.
Okay.
He can see all 360-degree directions. They came from, if you're looking at the eastern side of the map, they spotted them basically when they were sort of approaching the Well of Light. Okay, but it looked like they had already been traveling from the east along this boulevard. They tracked them when they were about to approach the plaza of the Well of Light. Then they kind of came around the base of the pyramid, looked up at the goblins or looked up at the fortification, didn't do anything, but they sort of recognized that was there. Then they basically moved through the forum to the statue of Arden, and then the exact same path that you guys are taking. Okay.
From outside the city. Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, so I asked that because they aren't coming from what we assume was Garalad's escape hatch, which is the gladiator school or like the tunnels there. They're coming from the opposite direction. In that direction, they're moving, but not necessarily to that spot.
That's right. That's where they come from.
All right, but they're not going towards
that's-
Osterwick. Is an important thing. They're not heading towards the city that we can tell.
Well, they could
at
be
nighttime, we
coming
sometimes
back
hear the baboons, though, from the east. Sometimes they're talking. Sometimes they hooting and hollering in the east. We think it's coming from the towers there at the east gate.
Okay. All right.
They're everywhere, the baboons. They're everywhere. They're second, the baboons are.
That's saying something. All right, so I'll note pen. So Garalad coming from the east, possibly from a tower, which makes me wonder if the Druid's retreat lair goes further east than we thought, or whether Garalad's lair has access to one of these towers. That's very interesting. Okay, cool, man.
Okay, so
let's skip it.
Continuing on. Okay, so you are going to go right past the western tower. That is the one that that you guys have not actually been to, as if I remember correctly. It is one that the Five Fingers of Destiny have been to, and you know that they uncovered what was inside a coffer, one of the silver ankhs, right? But you skirt by that and you head out, knowing because you escaped out from here prior that far to the northwest is the entrance there where you were able to sneak past a sleeping gigantic cave bear. So the total journey from the Bridge of Wisdom, observing Cisco, and then moving all the way to the cave bear entrance is unmolested at nighttime. And it takes you another 5 turns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is now 1:30 in the morning. 9 o'clock is your when the ball is over, sort of thing, right?
Right.
Okay. You are still just navigating by moonlight and starlight, but now you are at that at the cave bear entrance. So let me bring this up real quick on my end. Oh, you know how it goes. Okay. Right. So this is sort of the entrance is sort of in the side of like a hillock, and there's like connected stalactites and stalagmites that basically form like an almost like monstrous jaw sort of opening into there. You guys have come out from that end. You can definitely smell the rank stench of like a furred beast of some sort, right? And when you approach very, very carefully, because you've been here, so you kind of know like when to start getting stealth mode on. You can definitely hear. I'm going to say you're probably about, let's say we'll say you're like 60 feet away. You can hear from within. When you were coming from the other direction, you heard snores. You don't hear snores this time. You hear crunching of bones.
Bone crunching.
from inside.
Very dangerous.
Does it sound like the dragon crutching that deer?
It does at a much smaller volume. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
John, can we get an auditory bead on that? Does it seem like, is it just echoing all around that area, or is
it's kind of echoing around? Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Okay.
I will instruct the goblins to put arrows in their bows and prepare themselves for the hunt.
Right. So there is definitely like you can see the opening beyond what is like a close crop of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a hedge, almost like a natural hedge, right? Which is probably why Geralt had liked it as his escape thing, because it's tough to notice someone coming in and out of that. So there is like a lot of cover between you and the cave mouth as well.
Okay.
Or concealment, I should say, not cover.
Guys,
We should keep
we think
upwind, all right? Or downwind. We want to stay downwind.
Ooh,
So it
well,
can't smell us do it.
actually, from our calendar, as I spoke,
Yes.
randomly generated, the breeze is coming from the southwest, and the entrance basically
that's perfect.
The entrance faces directly west. So you would have to go east into the entrance.
and the wind would be. Oh wait, no, that's bad.
That's bad.
Blowing,
Yeah, we
It's
want
bad
to
for
blowing our
we want
scent.
to circle around to the other side of the entrance and approach from that direction to avoid him smelling us.
Correct. Yeah, Mike.
So I just want to mention, I don't know if this was common knowledge before or if this is confirmation. John just kind of said, oh, and this is why Geralt likes this entrance, because it's hard to see from the outside. So, Matt, does your plan of like charming or befriending the bear matter if it's already under similar sway with Geralt?
I will tell you why it does not matter, because our plan changed after Elizabeth picked her spells. So we are no longer charming this cave bear. That's not on the menu, boys. She packed spells for our overland trip, which was going to be the case before the dragon waylaid us.
Okay, never mind then. Sorry. I'm not trying to distract.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. We still got something that we can do for most of us. Avaricios is packing silence. So if we want to use that resource now and use our smarts to stay, upwind, downwind, whichever is the good one, then we can sneak around to the north, being most of us, if we huddle together, silent, and loop around to the south.
I just want to bring up that the last time we tried to use invisibility and silence on creatures that don't necessarily rely on those two senses, David almost got like pinned to the wall by a minotaur.
In the same place, too.
Exactly what I thought. Great call.
That's why the wind, right? Like paying attention to the direction of the wind.
A correction too about what your senses are telling you as well. You can see very slightly, actually, strangely enough, in the mouth of the cave itself, deep in it, along, I guess I would say like the northern side of it. So more towards like your left side, right? If you're approaching from the west, there is some faintly glowing light. And the light is steady, and it's reddish in hue.
Inside the cave.
Inside the cave, reddish, not flickering. It doesn't look like any light that you have seen. Like, it doesn't look like continual light, even though it's steady. It definitely doesn't look like flickering orange torchlight or lantern light either. It's like a red light, steady and faint.
And this is not something we saw on the way out.
No, nothing at all. It was completely dark that time.
I think this is probably not related, but it just occurs to me, and I want to say anything that hits my mind. Do druids have any sort of shape-shifting ability in OSE? Because I'm not aware. I don't think this is Geralt per se, but I'm curious if we should be cognizant of animals. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
Elizabeth will tell you that higher level druids can definitely do that.
Seventh level.
She cannot yet.
I'm not saying this is Geralt, obviously, but like it never occurred to me till now that there could be creatures around that have a relationship with Geralt that may be humanoids in disguise or him. Till now, I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
So what do you do?
What if? Okay, here's a plan I'll pitch. I can cast silence on Darius. We'll all stay close to Darius as we sneak around to the north, hoping the wind will mask our scent. When we get into that near the cave entrance, Darius perhaps can go invisible. Then he's silent and invisible, going in to see what that red light is and maybe either report back or kill the thing that's there.
Mike?
I'm totally willing to do that. John, is there bear shit anywhere in the vicinity of the cave entrance?
Yeah, it probably would be. Yeah.
Can I recover some bear shit and smother and cover myself in it?
You can certainly do that. Sure.
Don't make that face at me, Ted. I think you judge
I think that's brilliant. If there's a little extra, I'll put a little on me too. You know what? I just almost died from a dragon. I will smear shit anywhere I need to not die again.
Okay.
I'm already kind of smeared with shit, but that's a different story.
All right, so I'm down for that plan, John. I will use my first use of Leryl's cloak, assuming that we make the circling motion that Matt's talking about to get out of like the upwind area.
How long does that last?
So it's 3 uses. Each use is 3 turns.
3 turns. Okay. Got it. And then?
And assuming that works, then right before I go into like the possible visibility of the cave, that's when I'll trigger the invisibility. Does that make sense? Or if I need to be invisible to retrieve bear shit, then I do it, retrieve the bear shit, and then go into the cave.
Yeah, you can retrieve the bear shit, wipe yourself down.
Okay.
I'll give that to you for free. And then you're going to, versus you're casting silence on him. Is that correct?
Or can you cast it on like a coin? And then can it be cast on an object and then just cast it on a pebble or something that I can carry?
Let me check here. Silence, the duration, 15-foot radius silence. 12-turn duration. Let's see. I can cast it on an area or upon a creature.
Yeah.
Okay. Then cast it on me. That's fine.
And I think that I think that we'd all want to like go around with you at least to the cave entrance, because otherwise the bear's just going to see us.
That's what I assumed as well.
Yeah, because if it's a 15-foot radius, that means like 30-foot circle, right? So we should be.
So you guys are going to approach from like the northern side of the entrance, right? Silence is then cast. Yeah. You guys are going to remain in that area, or you're going to cast it on Darius.
We're going to cast it on Darius and then travel with him.
Oh, you're going to travel with him.
Yeah, we don't want to catch the bear's attention with Avaricius going, Domine Patre Spiritu Silencio, that kind of thing. And so we go to silence it, get close, we stop and don't move, and then Darius goes a little bit further.
Okay, so only Darius is entering into the cave itself.
Correct.
Right, okay. At this point.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so all that goes off without a hitch, not a problem at all. And Darius, you are now at the cave. Everyone's at the cave entrance to the north of it, out of line of sight. And you guys reek. You absolutely fucking stink. It's really bad. Yeah, Ted.
So on the Druid's Retreat map, we have the cave drawn, and there's like green lines. Is that the hedge you were talking about?
Probably. Let me go over there and take a look. Where are we? Oh my God. Control Z.
I think it's center top of that big green square.
Yeah. And no, that's actually like the stalactite entrance right there. Let me go over to mirror so people can see. I also want to take a break relatively soon here. So can you guys see my pointer?
Yeah.
So basically like everything here is like the hedge. Okay. And you guys are now like right here.
Okay.
Okay. And then Darius is going to sneak in.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was
imagining. You guys, just as a point of like not being stupid later on, when I come back to tell you what I've seen, I'm going to be invisible. So please don't blast me. I'll tap somebody on the shoulder. I'm not going to release my invisibility just to do this. Have a writing utensil out. Do we have like a pen and a paper or like a quill and a paper?
Scroll on my map.
I happen to have a little notebook. Yeah, I've got the little notebook right here. Look, it's got the little pen attached. It's really nice.
I just don't want to play that dumb game later on where how do you tell them?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so before the plan,
are we all going to go like with him around to the eastern entrance to the cave, or are we going to wait
We're
at the
at
hedge?
the entrance. He has to go ahead of us to see what's in there. That's what John was just explaining.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So before the plan executes, we're just going to take our quick second break, and we will be right back.
Okay.
Okay, we are back after a second break. Beers have been refilled. Bladders have been emptied. Okay, so Darius sneaks in with the silence upon him, invisible. You sneak in, and you can see immediately the basic environs of the cave itself. So, as a reminder, this is basically a quite large. It's a very large cave. Actually, I guess you wouldn't be able to see everything just because the light itself is pretty weak. I forgot that this map is actually 50-foot squares. So, but you can see the northern part of the wall is being illuminated by a red two sources of light that are emitting a red weak light inconsistently, and they appear to be actually semi-spherical, pearlescent, moist balls of some sort. They're probably about the size of like a human head, right? And they're sort of
sentence ever.
And they're sort of they're sitting against the wall, apparently discarded, sitting in sort of like a bit of goo, like dripping goo, and they're just kind of pulsating a red light that's sort of giving the whole thing sort of a very there's a word for this, like a not macabre, but
Cronenbergian.
yeah, just like like a red evil sort of light, right? And then casting a massive shadow from that light against the wall, sitting basically on its butt with its feet spread out and holding what appears to be the remains of some gigantic insectoid creature, is a huge bear, like bigger than polar bear, right? Like really big. And he's just tearing off huge chunks of this insectoid and just gulping it down. And you can see that the gooey drippings that are dripping down from the inside of that insect mirror some of the goo that's on those nodules. And it just go into town with it. Like his muzzle's just like slicked with icky goo. And you are basically, I'd say, about 30 feet away from it, and it's sitting against the northern wall, illuminated in that light.
So it sounds like, with the way he's sitting in the light and everything like there, that silence will do us no good. There's no way to walk through here unseen.
Unseen would be very difficult. Well, you don't know what the bear's sight is. And remember, too, that cave is extremely large. It's about 100 feet from north to south, right? And about 100...
Right.
And about 150-ish east to west.
What's the radius of the light from those organs?
Only about 30 feet.
Right.
Where are they and this bear in relation to that the place where the cave narrows down?
Very far away. So you guys see the map?
Yeah.
So Darius is like right at the green point, right? Or the green little thing. And then the bear is like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the lights, I guess you probably wouldn't actually see the nodules because they're on the other side of the bear, and they're like right next to the bear here, sort of illuminating here.
Just sitting on the ground?
Mm-hmm. Sitting on the ground eating. Yeah. And there's like another beetle, sort of big beetle sort of thing that's a carcass that's like right next to him that he looks like he's going to have course number 2 after he finishes course number 1.
So maybe if we went all the way to the southern wall of the cave and skirted along the wall, kind of like we did on our way out, I think, we might be able to get in without him seeing us. Maybe.
The silence would help, yeah.
If
silence
the bear,
would help. You got 20 goblins with infravision.
If the bear can detect smell coming in from the south, will bring the scent with them.
Question for everyone.
True, but we do have smell like poop. Bear poop. Go ahead, Dave.
Not saying we should do this, but with 20 goblins, an assassin, a decently skilled druid, I can't cast for shit. I have the ice wand. I could blast it. I'm trying to save. I don't know how many charges it has, so I'm saving them for emergency.
Save that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a fireball spell, but I also want to save that, right? Like, in other words, like, we could probably kill a bear unless there's something really crazy about it. It may not be without casualties, and every casualty is less gold to haul. But I think if we set it up right, we might be able to make this a very swift death. It's eating. If we use the silence just to give us a little time, if everyone can kind of position themselves in such a way, I can ready the fireball just in case, right? But like,
Yeah.
we might be able to pretty reasonably fucking churn through this. And I know Mike would love it. Go ahead, Mike.
I love that idea. Also, don't forget this is our escape route. So if our escape route is hampered by angry bear, that's kind of a bad thing too. The one thing I would just say, David, you said, "Oh, we have an assassin." I'm not going to be very effective against this guy because it's not a humanoid. I could try to do the stealth ninja thing, like on Weir, but it's also not a humanoid that you can just stick a knife through its like neck, right? Like I assume this thing is beefy enough, John, that it would be a little bit more challenging to just stick it right through the eyeball and just immediately kill it or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Ted, go.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. And I agree. My first thought was like, we could take it. There's a bunch of us, But the reason that Garrelad liked it here might also be a good reason for us to leave it here, which is that this is not perhaps a commonly known entrance or exit, and it's well guarded, which has a lot going for it. Long term. Short term, yeah, we kill it, but then we have a new problem.
I agree with that.
Buy it, Ted. If we're running out of here with sacks of gold,
yeah, that's a good point.
Here's my two thoughts. If we have to run out here with sacks of gold, we will, but the dragon will probably kill us. But I think that's a really, really important thing is to cover your ass, like you said, Mike. Theoretically, this covers our ass by trapping us, right? It covers people from coming in from behind, but also traps us, right? So both of y'all are like totally correct in that appraisal. Short term, if things go well-ish, I think we'd be better retreating up through the Broken Head exit if we're down here than it is this way. Long term, similarly, I like the idea of a bear guarding it. Also, we're going to discuss this a lot, and killing it might just be fun and go quick from a meta perspective, right? Or it could go terribly, and it'll also be fun. But you know what I mean? Like if we can't think of like a creative idea, that's something to consider in our appraisal.
Do we have oil? Do we have flaming oil? Can we douse it and then set it on fire?
Well, also we have the bag, right? Do we have any of the mortality left? Can we poison some food and toss a fucking honk? No.
We used up all the mortality.
Here's an important thing you guys probably don't realize, which is that because of the timing of this whole Codswallop nonsense, Yost has 7 hit points, which is not great. So he never was able to get healed or anything. He had a night's sleep and got a hit point back. So he's not someone I'd really like to take into battle with a giant cave bear. Just saying.
Okay, what I'll say is, and I don't want to shoot a fireball on top of all of our goblins who are going to haul things. So if we want to try to not fight it, what is the best way to get by quickly? And then if things go awry, I can like fire a fireball off behind us and blow it up.
My guess would be the way the wind would be blowing, we're covered in shit. If we go straight as fast as possible on the left side of that green line to get to the southern wall, once we're at the southern wall, we should be out of the wind. We wouldn't really be downwind. So it might catch sight of us, but other than that, once we to the southern wall, hopefully we're out of sight and too far away for any kind of vision, and we can move silently at that point. But I don't have any other ideas.
Mike?
If I attack it, I become I lose my invisibility. But that doesn't mean if I distract it, I lose my invisibility.
So,
guys,
throwing rocks or something?
Well, something. Now it has to be something that I can do outside the radius. So does anyone a bell? If we put a bell on a tree branch, I can stand there with a twine. I know David loves the twine, and I can jingle it outside the cave entrance. Right?
Okay. I happen to have a
6
bell here in
spells.
the
I
bag
have 6
if we need.
spells. Or
Oh,
you
you
can
have
pull
one
from the
already?
bag, but I have 6 spells that I pulled off of several corpses that originated at Onware originally. So I love that idea. Why don't we set up, and not only that, you could use the twine to ring it while we're at sort of in the entrance to get it to like ring and run out or whatever, right? Like, let's try it.
I can literally run down the hill with the bells dangling behind me. It chases me. Then I drop the bells, I circle around, and I come back and meet you guys in the cave.
Just make sure you have the bells stringing farther than the silence spell.
That's the only thing I would say. I love this idea from a dramatic standpoint. I also don't want you to die. And so if putting the bell in a bush and pulling it with twine is easier, but if you want to do it for fun, I'm fucking so down. I just don't want you to do it. So
just drop the bells. Yeah,
let's just do it.
Cool.
Okay. So
do it.
Mike,
Also,
you take point. You tell me what you do.
Okay, so John, I'm going to go back to the party. I write everything, write down the situation inside there.
Yep.
I take the bells, right? And I'm going to go outside. I need a length of twine that's about 15, 20 feet long so that they're outside that length, the silence.
I got you.
And then these guys are going to hide on one side of the cave. I'm going to start ringing the bells. When I see the bear come running out of the cave, I'm going to book it with the bells behind me down the hill away from the cave and try and get it to chase me.
Okay. Yep.
And then once the bear's out of the cave at a distance that like we feel like we will not be seen coming around the corner, we enter the cave and book it for the narrow little tunnel on the east.
Okay.
David.
Got it. Yeah.
Hold on. Sorry. One thing to modify because I love this. Why not cast silence on Mike and have the bells on a twine several feet behind so it's outside of the silence thing?
That's literally what he's doing.
That's what I'm doing, bro.
We already did
You're
that.
a fucking genius. Whoever. Oh my God. This guy. Sorry.
Okay.
Minds, David.
Cool.
Amazing. Good job, Mike.
And one thing, after he describes the interior of the cave, I want Mort to run and grab both of those glowing orbs as we come into the cave and
keep
start.
in mind those are probably fire beetle something or other, and they might hurt you.
I
Well,
think
if they
they're bad.
seem like they're just glowing, I'll pick them up. If they look dangerous, I'll leave them. But
Okay. So this is a pretty good plan. So you execute it basically, and we won't rehash it basically, but it basically does exactly what you want. I say basically way too much. I realize the Darius, you dangle the bells. Everyone's primed to slip right into the cave. The cave bear, when you jingle the bells, rears up, right, sniffs the air, and then immediately gets down on all fours and peers tentatively through the stalactites of the entrance, listening. You can see carefully to the bells. So do you move? You're muted.
you're muted, Mike.
Sorry, I'm trying to mute so you guys don't have to hear my wheezing lung. I'm gonna wait. If I see the bear stop, I'm gonna jingle the bells some more in the underbrush, right? Until I can tempt it to come out. Kind of like playing with your cat, right? I'm gonna coax it out with the bells, and then if it comes out, then I will like book it down the path. Also, like if it's within range, I'll just whip a rock at it or something just to get its attention, right? And get it to, come down
so
and get.
Like bears, like they're not immediately aggressive towards everything. Like, they can't actually be like fright. I mean, you've seen videos of like cats scaring away bears. I mean, like if the cat gets in their face enough, right? So it stops at the entrance and it sniffs and it's listening. But it's like it's very, very careful as it's sort of like looking around. You can kind of gather, Darius, as you're sort of looking right at it, that it has very poor eyesight. It doesn't seem to be gathering like too much information about what's going on outside.
Sure.
It's listening very carefully, and it's using its nose is doing that scrunch thing that bears do, where it sort of like makes the fangs show. It's like it's really using its nose a lot, right? But you're covered in the poop, and so it doesn't sense you. And it takes a couple hesitant steps outside the cave, but very, very sort of careful, But now
when I see it do that, I'll give it like a little dingle, 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 and then I'll stop, just like with a cat, dingle, 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 and then as soon as it like gets interest again, then I'll kind of shake it through the underbrush as I go.
Okay, so as you sort of move away, it does slowly. It doesn't like tear after you or anything like that, but it just sort of, it's curious, worried. And it kind of moves forward enough that the rest of the party can slip in. So you guys slip in? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Amazing.
you give it a safe distance so you're not too close just in case. But you slip in. Mort, you can go grab those nodules. They are easy to carry. They're basically one slot each.
They look like they're likely to burst and cover me in napalm.
No, they don't look like they're going to burst. But you would think like any sort of fragile object, should you take like a heavy fall or something like that, there's a chance that it might break.
All right. Well, I'll grab them both, and I'll give him to a couple of the less encumbered goblins to carry as light sources.
Okay, cool.
Because I am likely to fall, and hopefully they will not.
Yeah. So they they're a little bit duller than I thought. So they cast light in a 10-foot radius.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so
Well, better than no light at all. Okay.
And you slip through, and Darius, you could tell that you saw your friends kind of slip in.
Uh-huh.
So what do you do now?
So what I'll do, John, is I'll tie the twine with the bells on a tree. You said there was a breeze, right? So they should jingle, jingle, jingle in the breeze.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I'll circle around to the outside of the cave entrance. And while the bear investigates the dingle, 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 I'll slip in behind them. And I'll be moving much faster since I don't make any sound. I don't have to worry about it tracking me. So I'll just be going at full speed, whatever I can until I can catch up to them.
Okay.
And,
I don't see any problem with that plan. So I think it goes off without a hitch. I think the entire plan takes a turn. So you have 2 more turns left on your invisibility. And we'll say that you guys meet up at the very narrow opening that leads deeper into the tunnels.
Sweet.
Well done.
All right.
Okay.
Amazing.
I like that, guys. That was fun.
That was super
Good job,
cool.
team.
Great thinking, dude. Great thinking.
Yeah, I like that. Luring it out with bells. That was a good one.
Okay. So
Okay,
there
gotta
is
remember to
that.
get our bells back.
There is that very narrow corridor. It's actually not that narrow. It's actually pretty normal. I keep forgetting that this map is gigantic. In the back of the cavern, though, that leads down. It slopes down gently, and you just kind of go in, right? So at this stage, I need to know light.
Can I push my way up towards the front of the goblins? I think we have one of the goblins with a 10-foot light source leading, right? And then I will be far enough back to get all of the lead goblins in that silent spell. There's no way we're going to get everybody in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
if you're
the
up front with the
goblins-
dim light sources, because Av can follow behind with because he's still got his holy symbol with the light on it. But he can be bright light in the back, and you have some dark vision guys. Maybe we just stagger it that way. Dark, or the infravision, then the 10-foot, and then the 30-foot.
Well, for the purposes of this map too, we're just going to round up, and for the purposes of this map, we're going to say that any sort of illumination is just going to illuminate a square, which is actually giving you the benefit of the doubt because it technically wouldn't.
Mort, you should lead for morale purposes, right?
Yeah, Mort and Yost will be up front with Gangrene.
Okay.
And Mike, I think you missed why he's called Gangrene. He's got one tusk that sticks out and goes right up his nose and causes there to be nasal drippage. And wait till you see John's rendition of this. It's
You've heard
I
it
already
already.
heard it.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't know what was happening. It was kind of gross.
Oh, okay. This is marvelous.
Okay.
Genius acting.
Okay, so you dungeon crawl your way. You've got a massive troop, right? And the goblins are all they're quiet. They understand things, but there's sort of this kind of hushed whisper all around you. You know what I mean? Just goblins all around.
I'm imagining that scene in Khazad-dûm when all the goblins, as the Balrog is approaching, and they all start looking around, going,
yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Yeah. I also picture the labyrinth, of course, is always my ideal version of goblins, and the picture of them just sort of looking at the camera and waiting for Jennifer Connelly to say the words, and they're all like, wow, she's going to say the words. Did she say it? Okay, so you start making your way down, slowly through these cramped natural tunnels. Now, there is a slight bit of natural luminescence. If you remember, there are those little phosphorescent toadstools that are sort of dotted around, which you had picked up on. It was likely the indication that this was actually Garalad's marked path through these tunnels. You hadn't diverged much from those mushrooms. When in doubt, you were always sort of deferring to that path, right? So this path is part of that, and you after a while you make your way down to that cliff. Right. So you are at the top of it at this point. you arrive at the top of this cliff, and it opens up into a large cavern with multiple branches out from it, and the cavern itself is 35 feet tall. And I believe that you are, let's see, you are
25 feet up.
25 feet. Oh yeah, you wrote it down there. Perfect. 25 feet above the ground. Now, if I remember correctly, the way you approached this is you came from the western one, which was also a cliff, and you actually were very scared about what was at the base of that of that cavern. So you sort of I think someone went down, but whatever. You attempted to go across to the other one to where you are now as quickly as you could.
True.
I think,
John, one thing that I'd be curious about, just as we're going through this tunnel, is there any sign of additional traffic since we've been here last?
There is not. Everything seems to be relatively normal. Everything's relatively quiet. You know that there are hand and footholds that have been carved into both of those cliffs, where you are now and the one that you came from prior. And there are 3 other exits out of here that are on the ground level.
Right.
Which you have yet to investigate at all.
I think if at all possible, John, we would just like to perfectly recreate our path. We have it mapped. We know where we're going. I don't think we need to get too hung up on kind of when you're going through virgin territory, the way we move and carefully. I think we should be able to just retrace our steps as confidently, as quickly as we can get away with. Is what I'm voting for. David?
I totally agree with the caveat that knowing, I don't know if they'd be here, but knowing that we saw the apes, the albino apes above ground, I want to make sure that we're at least cognizant of or listening for any sort of hooting and hollering or scurrying of the large or small variety in these areas. So I think we should move quick but vigilantly, in other words.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not suggesting we throw caution to the wind at all. Just,
of course. Yeah.
So you're moving at 120. That is different than the movement rate that you were working on the first time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also give you the benefit of the doubt. Each square is 50 feet. I'm going to allow you to move 3 squares per turn. So I'm going to allow you to move at 150. Okay.
Right. But I think that means that we can't get too hung up on like crazy contraptions. We're just going to have to take the handholds, go down, and go up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll also try to keep turn tracking for the silence. So if we're there, 1 turn to go through the cave bear tunnel, 1 turn to go these 3 squares. Is that fair, John? That it's been silent for 2 turns, or is it more than that?
I have your silence marked, so you have exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 more turns on your silence.
Okay, so 4 have expired.
Silence, right? The invisibility is 3 turns.
The invisibility is gone. Darius, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did he come from?
Yeah. Wink. Okay. The goblins are very, very excited. They're very thrilled that they're back underground again, although they know that this is a dangerous, probably very dangerous. You see Gangrene as you kind of drop down onto the ground, and that those couple of minutes whenever you're transferring from the floor to the other cliff,
he smells bad. Smells bad up north. Smells rotten.
North, you say? Like what?
We know that, Ted. It smelled rotten last time too.
Yeah.
I don't have that
Smells
marked.
like Predator. Yeah.
Gross.
Okay. And then, but you ignore it and you move into the next tunnel. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm going to say when you get to the square, that square chamber there, which you might remember
where the
sadness
staircase was.
A great sadness occurred there. Who remembers what happened in that constructed chamber?
That poor little thief.
Yes, indeed. But
Atticus.
I might say the best of us.
Atticus.
1, 2, 3. So 3 more turns pass. Yeah, don't mind me. No big deal.
Is his body still there, John?
Well,
and is the chest undisturbed?
Hold on a second. We don't even know if you've even gotten there yet.
Oh, random encounters.
Oh.
I hope it's a goblin with a bag of interesting mushrooms.
John's just got an itch.
Okay. So Yeah, you're carefully, but quickly moving through that winding, narrow passageway. Now, having been familiar with this passageway as you've gone, you know that you're about to approach that what you assume was some sort of basement in some sort of dwelling, right? Because it was man-made, and you've been in these natural tunnels. When you approach it, we'll say like you're 1 square away. You can hear munching sounds, munching and slurping coming from that room. You can also
I think
smell.
maybe we know what happened to Atticus's body.
You can smell something from there that you didn't smell the first time you entered, which is definitely the smell of rot. The same smell that Gangrene smelled up in the natural cavern to the north.
John, we've encountered undead and skeletons before. Does it smell undead or does it smell more animalistic?
It smells more animalistic.
Something's eating Atticus, I guess. That's gross.
Can we listen? And when you say crunching, I cut you off, Chad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's probably reasonable to ask. Not that we would have a hyper precise way of knowing, but the difference between hearing like a lion down on something and like something like a rat, you know what I mean? Like scale of animal might be something we have a little sense of, or you know.
Yeah, so it's you could tell it's definitely multiple creatures.
Okay,
and you can tell that it's definitely larger than giant rats.
All right, that's good to know, guys.
It's a bunch of baboons. Oh, all right. Tell you what, Mort will volunteer to belly crawl up to the. Oh no, this exit is not elevated, is it, John? There was a staircase in here, but this is a floor level exit.
It is, yeah. Right? So remember, like your little notes there were actually the E, the S, and the W were visible, but then when you used infravision, it actually exposed. I think Goran was the one who saw this. Garalad's actual markings on the wall, his little deceptions that he was doing.
Right. So
if you go up, you should take Darius with you because he can keep you in the silence bubble so they can't hear you.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So Mort and Darius belly crawl up to, as close as we can get without being seen, kind of try and see what we can see up in that room.
Okay. So the rest of you guys are hanging well back, so like your continual light doesn't show, right? Or the nodules don't show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So Darius, surprisingly enough, you can actually make out a little bit of what's going on in there, despite being a human. Mort, you can use your infravision. The reason that you can see it, Darius, is because Darius wouldn't remember, so it's new to you. There is a strange, continual green glow that is softly emanating from the southern passageway into that room. Okay. The last time that Mort and Avaricios were here, you also heard male foreign bellowing coming from down there in that green glow, which you completely ignored. That bellowing is no longer occurring. It's quiet, except for this munching. But what you do see directly in front of you is the same exact room, that staircase, which was cut off, which looked like it had used to probably go up into an upper floor of dwelling. Remember, there was some treasure up there. You would deduce that it was likely Garalad's little secret stash, because there was like holly and mistletoe in there as well, right? You found some incense, which you have yet to identify, by the way. I just want to point that out. There was a treasure chest with that stuff in it, and Atticus was killed by a failed remove traps check. Atticus's corpse.
That's, by the way, that's where some of our mortality is, because we poisoned the rations that were in.
Oh, I forgot about that.
As heroes do.
Yeah,
that's a shame. So I'm hungry.
Atticus's corpse has been pulled off of that staircase ledge and is now on the ground and feasting upon his remains. And it looks like it's been pretty much like unrecognized. Only the fact that Atticus died there, do you figure that it probably is Atticus that they're munching? Are 3 disgusting glistening, segmented, multi-legged, caterpillar-like creatures with tendrils, multiple tentacles coming from their front segment with bulging, multifaceted eyes, and they are their tendrils are like dug into the flesh of Atticus and pulling out chunks and eating it. These are
Is that a carrion crawler?
carrion crawlers, yes.
Ooh.
And there are 3 of them. And Atticus's body is in the direct center of the room, as are they.
Oh, David.
I want to clarify because my memory isn't tight either. John, the incense and all that was in that stash because if I recall correctly, if I recall correctly,
It was, yes.
So as not to draw, just to clarify, so as not to draw attention, we didn't just poison the food, but we put everything that was in there back in it. So we do not.
And we
have
didn't
it.
steal anything. Yeah.
We didn't take. We put it all back in because just so we have it for the bookkeeping. I think everything that would be in there still is.
Fair enough. Okay.
I, however, did not note incense on the go bag chest thing here. So I'm gonna.
Also, in addition, there was another kind of strange thing that was here was 2 screens that were woven of vine and sticks were sort of folded up and placed against the wall.
Yeah.
Those are also still there.
Okay.
Did they when we left? I remember Avaricios like unfolded one of those and put it in front of that scary door.
Oh yeah.
They've been knocked down. Are they still up?
Yeah, I would say that actually, I forgot about that too. Yeah, the screen is actually knocked down.
Okay. So the creatures are pretty much situated. Darius and Mort can tell, right? That they're pretty much situated. There's no avoiding them. They're right in the middle. Like
They're right in the middle. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
If John, is there enough room? If they were completely unaware of us, is there enough physical room for us to hug the wall and get around?
Certainly, yeah, because the whole thing is only 50 feet square, right? So it's quite big.
It's pretty. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
because there is an option. We may want to fight these things. There is an option. It costs a resource that she was going to save for an emergency exit. But if we want, we could use it perhaps. Elizabeth did pack obscuring mist, so she could fill that room with a mist. We could hug the wall and get out. We still have the silence. They couldn't hear us. Or we can fight these things and maybe die a little bit.
Each one is about 9 feet long and 3 feet high.
I would say that, I like the mist as an obscuring mist for escaping. It would also obscure them or us from seeing them if they decided to come snooping for us in the mist. Is that true?
Well, yeah, it would obscure. Let me find it here.
Yeah, David.
I think you could cast it betwixt us. We don't have to be in the mist. In other words, if we're including in both directions, we would see them come out of the mist if they came for us. Having said that, I think this is a great idea. Just doing the regular old vetting process thing. With these sorts of things, are we more interested in taking the risk of combat before having the gold and having the escape tools later when we have gold, or using the escape tools now to assure that we have as many men as possible when we get to it? It's like, I don't know the answer, right? Like that's the big fucking question mark.
There's a wrong answer, but we don't know which one is.
Yeah, the other thing I can point out is right now for Mort and Yost, they are not at their full combat strength because they're not equipped with everything. So I would need to take time to put on armor and equip my shield and stuff, because right now it's all strapped up on their back so they can move faster.
Let's use it, and we can face the next challenge as it comes. I think we use it. I think it's a good idea, Matt.
Yeah. So guys, the way that this works is the mist blocks normal vision and infravision. Creatures that can see invisible things can see faintly through the mist. So it would affect all of us, but we know what we're doing. We know we just got to hug the wall.
How long does it last?
It lasts one turn per level, and she is level 3.
So she could cast it, and we don't have to wait a whole turn, but we could wait, a minute to make sure the things don't immediately start scurrying around the room in panic or something. right?
So
You know what I mean?
it's going to be a 30-foot cloud,
Right.
centered around.
Yeah, so she would
Elizabeth.
Oh, it's centered on Elizabeth?
Yes.
Oh.
I forgot this isn't like the mage spell.
I like it less. You can't put it where you want it. It's centered on Elizabeth.
Well, they are distracted eating.
Does it stay centered on her? Or
I don't think so. Actually, it fills an area centered on the caster. So, like, I think the mist creates around the caster, like in a thematic way, and then just sort of stays there.
Yeah, that's not that effective then. I think we have to fight.
Here's the thing:
well, if
they're all chomping. They're not looking at us. That doesn't mean we won't get their attention. But also, I don't think they're like olfactory glands are a thing. I think it's sound. Do we want to just try a stealth roll? I mean, it's a lot of people, but
the
like,
silence is still up.
Yeah,
Will it
so let's
fit
just move
everybody?
past.
Yeah.
Let's just try to sneak past.
Hugging the wall, it won't.
Yes.
if David is right, I could ferry people around.
Yes. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
Like,
Mike.
I could
Yes.
make multiple trips. But
Do it.
I'm not convinced that he's right. I'm almost guaranteeing that all those tendrils are going to be like some sort of like olfactory, like weird sensory
fair.
organs.
A radar.
It's probably like because I don't know if bugs have smell, but it's probably they have like a spatial sense, right? This is some real not knowing my science
Or vibrations or whatever.
Yeah, vibration.
What I would do,
fighting them.
the roll I would
make.
make.
Lead off with something like flaming oil and just do as much damage to them as possible.
Again, fireballs here.
I mean, God,
I would say with their senses, what I would basically say is, if you want to go with that plan, which is pretty solid, I would just leave it up to a surprise roll. So you would basically, I would roll for them, and if they roll a 1 or 2, then your plan succeeds. If they roll a 3 to 6, then they sense you. So it's a
silence thing, John. The silence
ferrying.
That's what I'm saying. Even with the silence.
Yeah.
So
if we're going to do that, then I think it's going to cost us some movement because Mort and Yost are going to have to armor up. There's no way I'm getting into a fight with 3 carrion crawlers and not, no shield and no armor.
And I hate to be meta about this, guys, but we all remember carrion crawlers from like childhood days. The thing that's going to suck about them is the paralysis aspect of it, and it's just going to suck. And that doesn't just take somebody out for this fight; it takes them out for the whole rest of the gambit. You know what I'm saying?
I think even if it is overkill, it is better to fireball them than it is to save it. I think we just use it and feel confident that's the right decision. And if it doesn't kill them all, I think we can keep out the scraps.
How about this? We got 20 goblin archers. Let's see what they can do, right? They get 1 shot off, and if it doesn't do anything useful, then you fireball them.
As long as the movement isn't so quick that they close.
Yeah, you're risking. Like, I think we're better off fireballing first. First of all, how are you going to get the goblins into the room to let them all deploy? We're all in a narrow corridor right now, right? Like overlooking.
I don't know how narrow it actually is, but yeah, I take your point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
It's about 10 feet wide. Yeah.
I think having someone fireball
it's basically quitting time. So I would say that we can either you can shoot the fireball right now, and we can determine the results right now, or we can just wait. And if you have a more complicated plan, we can pick that up next time. What would you like?
Let's shoot the fireball. Let's do it.
Fireball.
Okay. Now, where's the fireball coming from again? Exactly. Remind me.
I have a scroll.
A scroll. Okay, great, fantastic. Yes. Okay, all right. So this is power, the likes of which you have never seen yet, Misophase, but the words translate in front of you, and you cast it. Nothing.
Okay.
I realized I don't have
flavor there, Dave,
in front of me, so I have no idea what damage it does. Hold on.
66, buddy. 66.
I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, oh wait, I actually don't have my info. 1 second. 1 second.
It makes the sound of a very small fart.
Yeah, advanced fantasy.
Unless scrolls are different, it's going to be 66.
That's what I thought.
Turns out it's a scroll of fireball whiskey.
1d6 per level of the caster. The minimum level is 5th, so we're going to do a 5d6.
5d6.
5d6. Okay,
right,
roll them.
Right now, you ready?
Yep.
20 damage.
20.
Oh, not
okay.
bad.
Their save versus spells is a 16. So Here we go. 16 or higher. I got a... Did I not get anything? There it is. 8 is a fail. 8 is a fail.
Nice.
1 is a fail. All 3 of them fail, and you did 20 points of damage. All right.
Yes.
So you pull out the
Well
scroll.
done, David.
The words basically just flitter off into like arcane dust into the air as you recite the words, and a little little ball just goes forward, and then boom, centers right over Atticus's corpse, blows the rest of that to absolute smithereens, and Carrion Crawler guts just go against the wall as you just like charred bits just everywhere, and it's the smell of burnt flesh basically takes over the decaying stench of Atticus's body, and you annihilate them completely. Well done.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah! So
The goblins line up and they go down and shake your hand one by one. They're very, very pleased.
the goblins love that. They're like, they do the old Beavis. They like fire, they love it. So we're gonna say that takes a turn as well. So this is something that you should be aware of when we end here. That because of the nature of the map, time goes very, very quickly. Because the distance is traveled here. So remember that window is shortening and shortening. We're going to be ending here, so you're aware, at 2:50 a.m. and 9 a.m. is your
ouch.
your
we
bad
can't
time.
be wasting time, man. We got to book it. All right.
So you've got 2 more. Oh no, the mist wasn't cast yet, but you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more turns on the silence, Darius. Just so you're aware. And we will leave it there. So. That was super great, guys. You're back into the Druid's Retreat with your eyes set on the prize. You've overcome 2 formidable enemies with great firepower, which is and great thinking too. So that was great. Okay,
Good job, guys.
yeah. So
Pat yourselves on the back, everybody. There you go.
That bell move was phenomenal.
bell move, twine once again, fantastic stuff. So all around, that was fantastic stuff. Thank you. For watching, everybody. You have been watching, as you know, 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play on the internet. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you want, come join our public. Yes?
You gave me a list of names to read, and I forgot to bring it up. So delay. I gotta get the names.
Yes.
Sorry.
I will start over. You've been watching 3D6 Down the Line. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We have a free Discord server that you can join. And also don't forget that we also have a Patreon, which you should certainly join because lots of cool benefits over there as well. And go check out our first and only publication so far, Feats of Exploration, available on itch.io and DriveThruRPG. And spread the word, everybody. And of course, we could not be doing this without the support of our wonderful patrons, especially those of the highest tier, the Conqueror tier, which I assume at this point, Ted has the list available. Take it away, Ted.
I do have the list. My deepest apologies to all listeners. Here is the names of our noble conquerors, greatest in the land. We have G Tokyo Time, Matt Koenig, Chip Schultz, Terry Barney, Eric Lawson, Mando NZ, Faisal, James Doig, Robert Valdez, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano DiMaiolo, Underwires, Matt Young, Summon Toast, Adam the DM, Jib Cutter, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kick Maniac, and last but not least, Dire Grew. Thank you. And everybody else, get yourselves on that list.
Absolutely. And you get to hear your name in lights. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for your continued support. Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye now.